It's a fact that over on the other side of the Atlantic, North American anglers fish just 10% of their time using bait and 90% with artificial lures. Whereas in the British Isles, completely the reverse is true. Yet this need not necessarily be so, because during the warmer months especially, species like chub, perch, zander and pike are readily taken on artificials. And topwater lures in particular, whether made from plastic, deer hair, wood, alloy or rubber, can provide you with some truly fabulous action. It's a lovely morning and when I could, I suppose, be carp or tench fishing now in high summer. For me, taking a day to drift this really beautiful lake in preference to catching bigger fish really offers some exciting prospects, especially on this little tiny American bait casting outfit. I don't know why they call it a bait casting outfit, because if you were to put a worm on this, you'd probably fling it off. It's an Americanism really for lure fishing. And the lure I've got on right now is a pure topwater lure, and it's got this weed guard which just clips underneath the large single hook like that. So you can pull this along the surface, twitch it, let it remain static for a few seconds, twitch it again, and up comes the pike and grabs it, and it casts like a bullet. Watch. Whoa! Just missed that branch there, a bit hairy. But I think this is what I like most of all about bait casting, really, and particularly topwater lure fishing. It's coming through the weed, and any second you're in anticipation of a head appearing, and it doesn't really matter whether the pike's a pound or 15 pounds. In truth, I suppose you catch a lot more smaller pike lure fishing, particularly over weed beds such as this, because this is where little pike tend to catch a lot of their fry-sized food. But it really is great fun. Now, what you must be careful of when you're American bait casting with a little rod like this is not to use exaggerated arm movements all day long, because 4 or 5 hours of casting 3 or 4 times a minute and you'll have terrible arm ache. The cast is a very abrupt one. The rod is stiff. You merely swing the lure behind you on about a 4-foot drop, and that's it. It's just a quick, harsh cast, and you get really good direction. You can put this lure in a box 2-foot square every time if you so wish. Now, this particular reel has got a touch and trip bar. The heel of my thumb trips it, puts it into free spool. The thumb holds it tightly while I cast, and I break it as it hits the surface. There we are. Now, the nice thing about using these plugs that have got guarded hooks on them is that you can cast them into just about anything. This is really thick beds of curly pondweed here, and you can cast it through it, twitch it, let it remain stationary, twitch it again, all the time expecting a big mouth to come up and grab it, twitch it again, just like a mouse might be if it was trying to swim and struggling a bit. Give it another twitch, let it remain stationary. And you never know when there's a pike. So you've got to work it all the way back to the boat. It's no good stopping 3 or 4 yards out, because very often a pike's following and it'll sheer off away in disgust. So you've got to keep that going all the way through, whether you see a pike or not. It's a very good education to do that, a very good discipline. And you can see with this, I'm really working it with the rod tip, and this is why these short American style rods are so good. Longer, softer rods just cannot impart that natural action. As a tackle dealer, I know full well that so many people are confused when they're in the shop buying lures hanging up on the wall because they don't know what each pattern is capable of doing. And as many of them cost between £4 and £8, as some of the American patterns do, you really do want to be sure when you're paying out for them what they're going to do in the water when you're after perch and pike and other predatory species. And so let's have a look at these, probably a dozen there of my favourite top water lures, and we're going to start with the American sputterbuzz. This is a real great surface churner. Let's have a look, see what it does. Whoa, look at that. That's a fantastic action, the sputterbuzz, isn't it? Look at that. Now this is another surface churner, and it's made by the late Steve Gamble of Norwich, who made some fabulous lures. Look at that, just the wind's blowing that round alone. Lovely fluorescent blade on it, they're wonderful, and these go through the surface. Because the hook's upside down, they can go through the toughest lily beds and pike come up and really chomp them. This is another out and out surface lure, the Thunder Toad, and it's got this plastic body and plastic skirt which tends to hide the hooks, and the hooks actually only come into operation when a pike chomps this, and then the hooks can go home. And it comes through the surface in a real disturbance. Makes a lot of noise, that one. Now this is the Big Bud, one of the famous American lures, made like a beer can with a little waggly tail, and it's got a diving lip. It floats, you can jerk it, but it will dive down 2 or 3 feet and then it'll float up again, and you can move it a little bit further and then it'll go down again, and it's got a lovely rattle inside. This one is a stranger. It's called the Troublemaker. It's got a plastic hula type skirt on it with a treble hook hidden, and it's an out and out surface popper which you can gurgle and chug, and it won't really dive, but it makes a lot of surface vibrations. The Heddon Creek chub mouse is a real favourite of mine. It doesn't dive, it merely chugs on the surface, and you can make it really vibrate and throb and splash, and of course this leaves a lovely little wake in the surface. This is a Ryobi mugger. It's one of my favourite general purpose lures. You can catch chub on it in rivers, you can trot it down because it floats, and then bring the lure down on the retrieve through any depressions. And it's great for still waters too, working in depths down to about 3 or 4 feet. As I said, it will float, but it'll dive down when you want it to, and it's got a lovely silvery pattern to it. Whoa, another stripey. Look at that. It's got rather ambitions, hasn't it? How on earth it was thought that it was going to swallow this mugger, I don't know. Look, it can barely. It could never take it depth-wise. I suppose it might just go in, but greedy devil's perch, aren't they? Really greedy. We're back to surface churners now. Look at that. This nippy deedy has got blades. The wind's blowing that round as well. Blades on both ends. It's a pure surface churner, and pike can't resist it. This is a bit outlandish, I know. It's the buzzing frog, and because the frog's legs actually rotate, they tend to make the double hook there weed free, so you can bring it along the surface or just beneath quite quickly and be fairly sure that it's not going to catch up on the weed. Buzzing frog. This one's called the Throbber. Double treble hook, and it's got this lovely throbbing rattle inside. It's an out and out surface churner which you can pop or gurgle as it throbs. Brings fish up through the thickest weed beds. And last but not least, we've got Heddon's famous crazy crawler, which does this sort of crazy butterfly stroke, like flip-flop, flip-flop across the surface. It brings pike around from just about everywhere. So what I've been trying to tell you with these lures, it's not so much what you pay for them, but what each individual lure can do for you. Unfortunately, my floating mouse didn't bring any response in the first spot, and so I'm going downwind. Whenever I'm fishing a very large water, I always think it makes sense to first of all row upwind, and then you can move throughout the day in 50-yard sections downwind without doing too much rowing. Right, we'll just drift here a little bit by this island. Gently ship the oars. I'll go and put the mud weight down. Right. Now here's a tip if you're caught short without an anchor like I was this morning. Look around for a breeze block. It's a bit heavy, but then again so's this punt. That's lovely. And you can't really work a lake effectively without a mud weight. Well, I think I'll have a few casts with the mouse again just to see what happens. As you can see on my right here, I've got a huge weedy bay and then the deeper channel here right through the middle. So I've got plenty of places to work to. And I'll work first of all in the very shallow water beside that overhanging willow. It's always best to work towards feature lies. You've got to imagine where you think a pike will be lying, perhaps close up against that reed bed there. It's in the reeds, but it doesn't matter. Look, I'll give it a little plink and out it comes. That's the beauty of weed guards on the hook. You've got total confidence whether you cast it into a tree or into reeds. And of course it comes through thick weed that's reaching up to the surface as easy as pie. But there's only one problem, it's not catching any pike at the moment. Let's have a long one downwind now. Bring it up parallel with this weed bed. I'm just going to have this one last cast and then I think I'm going to change over to a mugger. That I can work through the surface, but it'll go a little bit deeper through this obviously deeper channel to my left. Right. And while I change lures, let's have a look at my trace. On the business end of the 15-pound elasticum, I've got a really small but strong snap link swivel. If you have a big one, it tends to collect too much weed, much too much weed. And on the other end, it's only 10 inches long, is a small size 10 swivel. I always use short traces made from elasticum, 15-pound test this is, because I think they're less prone to kinking. There we are, the mugger. Let's see how this does. I find this is one of the most effective of all general lures for this type of fishing. It casts like a bullet, being small and compact, and it'll go down to 6 or 7 feet if I really pull it hard. You'll notice that I'm always keeping the rod pointed at the lure. It's no good holding it to the side. If you go to the side, you're going to pull out of a lot of fish. It's essential that it's actually pointing at the lure. The mugger will only go down a couple of feet if I just twitch it gently, but then if I really crank it, which is why these sort of plugs are called crankbaits in America, then it'll really go down. Yes! I don't think it's... Oh, it's a perch! Oh, it's a nice perch. It's not very big, but... Oh, look at that. Lovely. He's taken the mugger. Oh. Look at that. That's lovely, isn't it? Very proud fish perch. And it's nice to... Whoops. Careful how you get hold of them. Whoops. And it's nice to catch one on the plug. Whoops. There we are. Beautiful, isn't it? Getting on for £1, I would think. Well, we've started. Oh, we'll have one more cast over there. Looks just the sort of spot you should find pike. often on that shelf as the weeds go down, the clumps are thinner and pike lie between them. Whoa! It's a lovely fight on these little single-handed rods, it really is. It isn't a big fish, and in truth you don't need one, it's just so much fun. Now what's this? Oh, it's a small jack, look. Whoa! Whoa! I've only got a light clutch set. Whoa! It was a thrasher. Whoa! He's going under the boat. Look at that. Now on heavier pike gear, you never get this sort of fun. Not in a million. Not in a million years. On a 2-pound test curve rod, 12-foot, designed for dead baiting, you'd be disgusted at catching that. Well, most pike anglers would anyway, and yet on a little American bait casting rod, they're great fun. And the way to treat this is unhook it gently in the water. I'm not even going to bother to, whoops. He'll probably shake himself off in a second anyway. Whoops. I'll just get the whoops, he's going to tail walk in a second, look. He's still got some life left in him. I'm just going to get hold of that bottom hook carefully and just shake him off. How about that then? Well, mugger's the plug today, isn't it? Look at that. Oh, whoa, no. No, he's off again. No, he's not. I thought he was going to dive then. I don't like to take these out when they're too fresh. He's got a bit of a knot round the trace there. Right, I think he's ready. Now then, where are you? Now the wire trace has somehow flicked around the... I don't know how it's done that, I'm sure. Let me just put a glove on. And just chin him out and take the hooks out carefully. Now the wire trace there has wrapped itself around a couple of times. Right, there we are. And we'll just release the treble like that. You must be very, very careful with summer pike. They've got a lot of energy, they can jump at any second, and if you don't hold them with a gloved hand, isn't that lovely? You're liable to get a treble past the barb in your finger, and we don't want that. Well, this mugger's started to look a bit worse for wear now. I've had so many small pike on this silver one. I think I'm going to change over. Perhaps the red one will make a few more perch strike. There are some bigger perch in this lake, and we've had them up to about £1.25 pounds so far. Let's try a red one. It works in exactly the same way. It'll go down to about 5 feet, something like that. And perhaps we might get into some bigger perch, or I don't know, it might just have more of a response with a pike. While I've got the rod out, let me just show you this American bait casting rod. This one is actually one of my own design. It's called the 6-shooter, and it's a one-piece all the way through blank. You can just see the blank there coming through the handle, and the handle's very simple to operate. To put the reel on, you just unscrew the top part. It's on a nice nylon thread, and the reel goes on firmly there, because you do really want the reel on firmly when you're lure fishing all day. You don't want the slightest sign of it slipping. That's nice and tight. There we are. And as you can see, it's got a trigger there, and if you imagine the trigger goes through the V created between your 4 fingers, you always hold it like that. If you hold it like that, you're a little bit out of control. You can't hold it anymore, but with 2 fingers you've got a nice snug grip, and you can put your thumb where it matters there over the spool of the reel. And you've got that nice full control every time you cast. Well, as you can see, we've changed locations now from that lovely estate lake in Oxford, and we've come back to my home county of Norfolk. Whoa, to one of my favourite Broads and some immediate action. Whoa, look at that. Whoa, whoa, is it going to tail walk or not? I'm on the American bait casting outfit still, but because up until a few minutes ago the weather was a bit dull, whoa, come on, let's see your tail walk, I decided to change over to a spoon, and I've just took this nice lean fish. Whoa, look at that. Now then, let's bring him over here where I can get down and glove him out. I'm sitting on an old office chair here. This is something that I've built into the middle of the seat on my boat, enabling me to swivel around quite a bit. I'm just going to glove this particular fish out. Looks like a really lean double. Whoops, and he's not quite... Is he yet ready yet? I don't know. Perhaps he is. Is he? Let's have a look. Whoops. I always find one of these chain mesh gloves the perfect thing for lure fishing when you want to glove fish out. I only net them when they're really big and I absolutely don't want to lose them. Oh, this is still going. Or when there's some flying hooks and I'm a bit wary of my hand, but this is okay. It's still thrashing. It's a nice thing about summer pike. They really do go well. And then I'll just chin him there. There we are. Look at that. Oh, that is a lean fish, isn't it? Let me just stand up with him. Oh, look at that. Lovely looking fish. These lean summer pike, they may not weigh as much as their winter counterparts, but look at that. That is about 10, 11 pounds of absolute, and I mean mean, muscle. Good, eh? Let's unhook him straight away. Right. And with these gloves, of course, you don't get those tiny little teeth embedded in your fingers. There's the spoon. Put the forceps back. And there's the fish. Isn't that lovely? Well, that's a good start. I think now I can see the sun's come out and they're being aggressive. I'm going to go onto some surface lures. Let me just show you the box of artificials I've got here that I actually use with a fly rod. Now all these patterns, well most of them are tied with deer hair. There's some very long streamer type flies that I've tied myself. These are even longer. Look at those. They've got a marabou feather on them to work. These are the surface mice, which are fantastic favourites of mine. And I've got several of these, each with long tails. Look at those. There's some sculpins. They're lovely too. I love all these creations. I just like actually fishing with them. Don't always catch, but I just like fishing with them. Look at them. Beautiful creations. Deer hair and marabou. I've even got a couple of tiny plugs there. These are much larger flies. Almost the kind of fly really that you use for tarpon in the Florida Keys. And all these patterns are tied for me by Gordon Mackenzie. There's another one. These you can pull very fast through the water. Pike just love them. I've even got some imitation frogs here that have got latex legs, and they create a lot of surface patterns when you use those. Right, now the outfit that I use these on is a 10.5 foot carbon rod, weight forward 9 line, and I've already put up one of these imitation mice with a long tail, and as you can see there's a large single hook that's got some stiff mono wrapped around it which makes it weed free, so you can pull it through quite dense weed without it getting caught up. This one's got little bug eyes on it. And I've got a very short wire trace with a snap swivel there. It's only £10 test and it's about 5 inches long. And the cast itself is only 4 feet long. If you use a long cast with these large weighted bugs and flies, you're liable to get it wrapped around your head. And that's only 4 feet long, tied to the end of the fly line, which actually is an intermediate, so it floats just beneath the surface film. Out and out white coloured floaters do tend to spook pike, and I don't want this sinking too far because I'm presenting them on the surface. And if I get a chance, we'll have a go for the pike on this later on. Well, right now, lots of my surface plugs don't seem to be doing very well, so I'm going to try a weedless spoon. It's got 2 weed guards there and a treble on the end. It's a bit noisy here because there's an irrigation pump over there taking water out for the fields. Right, let's have a go. Oh, that's lovely. That's working on top of... Whoa, yes, we're in straight away. Look at that. Whoa, that's working beautifully on top of that weed. Goodness me, that came from absolutely nowhere and chomped that. Whoa. Oh. Would you believe it? Whoa. It's not a monstrous fish, but they don't half go on these little rods, don't they? Look at... Whoa. So let's see if he's going to... Whoa. He's got a big head, but let's see if he's going to tail walk for us, is he? Oh, it's a thrasher. Come on, are you going to tail walk for us? Whoa! He's only just hooked too. Now, are you going to tail walk? No, he's going under the boat. Oh! What a thrasher. No, he's going away again. Oh, that was lovely. That turn around, that fish and took that instantly. Whoa, he's under the boat, he's going everywhere. Oh, I just love this little rod. I just love it. Like I said earlier on, it doesn't matter what size fish you're catching, they're all fun. And when you hook a double, like this, that wants to do the business with you, well. Now then, they're ever so thin at the moment, as pike are in high summer, of course. Now then, are you going to let me... No, he's not. Still not ready. No, he's not. Oh, he's still going. Look at that. Lovely fight. Well, that little weedless spoon did the trick, didn't it? Whoa. I don't know, he might be getting ready. Let me get down now. Into a gloving position. Hold him steady. Whoops. No, he's still going. Let's get the glove on. Now then, the spoon is only in by one hook, just in the chin actually. Whoa! No, he's still going. Lovely fight. Beautiful fight. It's still not ready, look. Isn't it ridiculous? Summer pike have got incredible power. Although this fish hasn't tail walked, he's done just about everything else. Oh, now come on. It's got the length of about a 15-pounder, but he probably doesn't go any more than about 12. He's very lean. Now then, are you ready? Let's just see. See if I can... Whoa, chin you out, are you? Now let's have a look. Let's just chin him. Yes, we've got him. Oh, look, I don't know. That's not a bad fish, is it? That's not a bad fish at all. That's easily 15-pound long, but that's probably only about 13 and a half, 14. Actually, it's quite thick. It's bigger than I first thought. Right, let's take out the weedless lure. Oh, it was well in. I thought then that, out you come, that wasn't really well in. Right, let me just stand up and hold him up. Oh! Wow, look at that. What a knockout. Absolutely great fun on my little rod. Unbelievable fun. No follows as yet. That's lovely. I've changed over to a big white fly now, a big wet fly on a 1/0 hook. Lots of silver tinsel in it. I'm stripping this across a very shallow gap in the weed there. They don't seem to want to come up to the popping bugs or the mice. I think it's probably early morning, late afternoon stuff, but so far today they've only really wanted lures. Whoops! Look at that. They've really wanted lures beneath the surface. I don't know why that is, because it's such a warm day. We're in the middle of June, and I would have expected them to have really been thrashing at artificials on the surface. No, not a single. Oh, a little perch come up and had a look at it there. Not a single follow from a pike. It's quite hard work slinging out a big lure on these, on this fly outfit. But it's a nice break from the bait casting outfit. The fly I've switched over to is forged hook tarpon fly, really. It's used in Florida Keys, so that I can whisk it through very fast. It's yellow and got a green tail. The only problem is all it's attracting at the moment is just about every perch in this little weedy bay. You can bring this in really fast, which you need to when you're after tarpon. Even, yes, here we go. Hey! Now what's this? Oh dear me! Look at that. Now, is that not the smallest pike? Isn't that unbelievable? You little devil, and he swallowed my fly as well. Isn't that lovely though? Look at that. These miniature predators, they're beautifully marked. Right, I'm going to get a firm grip on him under the gill and remove the fly that he swallowed. Now, how on earth did it swallow that? Look at it. It's incredible, isn't it? Well, I know you've got to go, but let's hope I can catch some bigger pike than that when I fish on, huh? Whoa! Well, the fly's okay, look at that. About a third of the length of that little pike. Let's straighten the trace again. I think sport's really going to liven up when the light starts to drop. And of course it did, though much later on, when it was too dark by far to film. Up came all the pike from the sanctuary of those weed beds to decimate fry shells on the surface. But before that happened, completely by chance, I drifted across a large shoal of massive bream. And naturally, it was just my luck that the smallest fly on board was a tarpon streamer tied on a 1/0 hook. My boxes of imitative nymphs had sadly been left at home. But even then, I just couldn't resist a few casts amongst the shoal. one of those jumbo-sized bream, and I've caught them here to close on 14 pounds, actually fancied giving chase, veering off only at the last minute. But what a privilege it was to witness such a sight. Through crystal clear water between 150 to 200 bronze-backed slabs, most of them into double figures. Why on earth didn't I have a waggler rod and a box of maggots in the boat? But enough of what might or could have been. I've now added an Avon rod and fixed spool reel holding 6-pound tests to my little bait casting outfit, plus a comprehensive selection of deer hair poppers and topwater plugs at the ready, for a lengthy early morning stalking session on a really overgrown part of my local River Wentham at Taven, near Norwich. This superb fishery is owned and controlled by Angling Water, where during the summer both chub and pike provide the opportunist lure enthusiast with some wonderful sport amongst the weedy, crystal clear water. The landing net is of course for chub, should I hook any, because whilst with a bit of careful wading, most sized pike can be lifted or chinned out, as I like to call it, using a glove on the left hand, you really do need to treat chub far more delicately. Ooh, you've really got to break these casts here, otherwise it's in the sedges on the far bank. Now that was about there. Hey! It went for it again. Yes, it's got it. Oh no, it hasn't. It's missed it. Would you believe it? Look at that. It's coming for it now. Yes, there it is. It's just in the edge. Yes, come on, come on, come on. Is he going to take it? Is he going to take? There it is. Look. Oh, did you see that? Isn't that incredible? He's still there. He wants it. He wants it. Let's just try him. He's only a little one, but let's have a little bit of fun. Look, look. Here he's coming for it again. Look, watch, watch. Yes, he's got it. What do you think about that? That's the beauty of summer lure fishing with these little outfits. I mean, it is magic. Whether it'll take it again or not, I don't know. But I'm going to have a few more casts after him anyway. What the hell? I've often had summer pike make 2 or 3 lunges and get hooked and come off like this. They just get so irritated by these little plugs. Half the time they're probably not even hungry, but because it invades their territory, just like a cat probably invading a dog's territory, it doesn't like it and it wants to chew it up. But yes. Oh, oh, let's get a bit closer here. Come on. He's not a big fish, but they're a lot of they're a lot of fun on these rods. They really are. Look at that. I don't suppose that's 3 or 4 pound, that pike, but oh dear me, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful fun. It really is. Now then, what should we do? Should we pick you up or unhook you with a full tip? So I think I'm going to take. There's a bit of a flying hook there. I'll just release that one. Whoops. Got to be careful with summer pike. You don't want to hurt yourself with the lures. Look at that. He's not very big, but oh, he's actually been attacked there sometime during his life by another pike. There we are. There's the floater out. Look at that. Yes, he's got a slight mark there. Can you see? And of course, on that side, that's where something could have been a cormorant mark there. It's probably a big pike. There's probably 1 or 2 very big pike in this stretch. They feed on the chub, no doubt. Right, let's put you back straight away. They're getting bigger. They're getting bigger. Whoa! That's lovely, isn't it? Absolutely wonderful. Well, this is really a lovely little pool here. I've left the wide water and moved into the more turbulent stretches. I think the bright sun and the crystal clear water of the wide stretch has made presentation rather difficult for the chub, at least. There's those little pike that were interested, but didn't get a single follow from the chub, and we'll see what happens in this pool. It's very fast water here. Just the sort of place there could be one or two very big chub holding station. I'm going to let that float down under those alders and then retrieve. Nope, no takes yet. Let's have a cast downstream. Whoa, yes. Well, I've left the wide water, decide to come into the river here, where it's certainly more turbulent and the fish don't see you so well, and I've got a chub's taken my plug first cast. Oh, it's not a big one either. Would you believe it? Came from absolutely nowhere. Whoops, it's so weedy I can't see to net it. Where is it? There it is. Whoa. Would you believe it? Look at that. All covered in weed. Let's just take the lure out. There's more weed than than chub there. Only a little one, but isn't that lovely? Whoops. Now, a lot of anglers don't believe that summer chub will attack plugs, but they will. And they're absolutely great fun, even if they're only, what, £1.75? Well, as you can see, I've changed over to the mouse, which is tied with a really chunky wad of deer hair so that it floats. And it's very important, whether you're chub fishing or pike fishing, to have a short wire trace like that, because pike are always liable to grab hold, although I'm hoping this is going to get me a chub. And I'm going to cast it downstream on the 6-pound line with the intention of using the current. You see, it floats easily, and I'm using the current to let it go under that tree that's right in the distance there. There's no chub here because it's too shallow, but I'm going to let it drift under that alder a little bit more, and when it gets around the corner I'm going to start twitching it up and hope something grabs it. You never know. I'm just going to tighten the line slightly, just keep in touch with it. It's going downstream beautifully now. It'll just pop and gurgle on the surface now. Some of those chub that I know live under there should have seen that by now. Right, let's start giving it some movement, see what happens. There we are, just a little jerk on the surface, another little twitch. Another little twitch. Whoops. Whoa, yes, there we are. Would you believe it? Look at that. Whoa, it's trying to get in that weed bed. Oh, it's a good fish too. Oh, I've got to be careful with this. It's going downstream. Wow. Oh, up popped her head, bang. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's a chub or a pike, but did you see that? Take that. Oh, it's wonderful fishing these artificial lures in the summer months. It really is wonderful fun. I catch a lot of chub on free lining tactics, but oh, now what is it? Is it a chub? The current's so fast here, I can't really see what it is. I think it's a chub. Oh, it's off. Oh, Well, you can't win them all. And that is so true. But if you persevere, another predator is bound to come along. For during the summer months, when water temperatures are at their highest and the metabolic rate of most species never more explosive, they can't help but feed aggressively. And after manoeuvring my floating mouse into position once again, some 30 yards downstream, beyond that overhanging alder, within seconds of starting the retrieve, up popped a pair of rubbery lips and chomped it. Whoa! Gone right down there amongst that weed. I don't know what it is. Fighting well, though. The current pressure here is on the rod is absolutely enormous. It really is. Whoa! It's just swirled in the middle of the river there. Whoa! It's a right thrasher. In fact, it got caught around that weed there. Right, let's try and give it a bit of side strain. It's a bit difficult here because of the alder to my right. Oh, we've played it out there. It's coming upstream now. Oh, it looks as though it's the chub. Yes. Go on, up you come. Up you come. It's not a big one either, would you believe it? It's amazing. Oh, no, it isn't a big one either, would you believe it? That mouse is certainly something else. Yes, here we go. Well, how about that then? How about that? Let's have a look at it. There we are. Now, where's the mouse? There it is, look. They're incredibly greedy fish chub. There's the mouse, covered in bits and pieces. You'd never believe they take it, would you? But they do. And it's not a big fish either. About 2.5, something like that. But it doesn't really matter what size fish they are, pike or chub or perch, when you're fishing artificial, because it's all absolutely wonderful, wonderful fun. We now switch from one prolific summer fishery to another by travelling southwest from Norfolk to Hampshire and to the fabulous River Stour at Throop Certainly more renowned for its barbel and chub, but which during the summer months, amidst a wealth of greenery, also boasts some exciting sport for the wandering lure fisherman. My choice being a Lander Pico spoon, worked just beneath the surface between the weed beds. That spoon really does look lovely. Very tempting coming through that clear water. Whoa! Here we go. Yes! Oh dear, where are all the big ones? Where are all the big ones? With more weed than pike. Oh dear, I hope it's not going to be one of these days. You tend to get days like this when you only ever seem to attract the babies. And then a big one comes along and has the audacity to nick your spoon and the little pike at the last minute, and of course you don't stand a chance of landing it. It's just got weed everywhere, and it took that spoon despite the amount of weed over it. There he is. Let's put him back straight away. Where you go. Well, they're a pike willing to feed, not the size that I want, but let's have another go. Now that little fish took it right. Oh, another one then. Would you believe it? Let's have another cast. There was a fish swirled at that again in exactly the same place that little fish took it. I think it was equally as small. Amazing. No. Whoa, look at that. Wow. I don't know whether that was a sea trout or a salmon, but something came hurtling out of the water then. I think it was a salmon. Now, there aren't so many salmon in the Dorset Stour these days, but that really did come crashing out. I can remember seeing that years and years ago when there was a lot more water in the river and 30-pound salmon came out each winter. A lovely sight to see that. Certainly not a holding pool here. I don't know what the fish was doing there. Perhaps me catching these little pike excited it and it decided to jump for the joy of living. I don't know. This part of the river here is known as the V tree swim, and I can see why. This ash tree is sort of split into two here. It's quite unusual. Fabulous habitat along the banks of the Stour here, it really is. Big beds of willow herb, teasels, purple loosestrife, betony there, big bed of betony here. This looks like a nice little piece here. Quite a lot of ribbon weed and bulrushes, and there's a willow there. Give this a few casts. It'll be fairly quiet when you're summer piking. Let's have a cast upstream amongst those, or the edge of those bulrushes there. I'm bringing this in very fast here because you just don't know when a pike's going to pop its head out and say thank you very much. I'll try and get this between those bulrushes over there. Whoops, that was a bit hairy. Nothing lying in there. Haven't seen anything follow at all. Bit of weed on it there. Let's have a cast underneath that willow. Whoa, that's lovely, all the way under. That's just the sort of place. Hello, there's a fish following it now. Yes! Oh, came out of nowhere and took that. Oh, now what size is this? Oh, it's trying to get in that weed bed. Ah! Oh! Oh, it's got in that weed bed. Let's get over here and get a different angle on it. Oh! It's not a monstrous fish, but it's very long. Just like summer pike, it's long and lean. There it is, look. Oh, come on, roll. Are you a tailwhip? No, it's not. I can't do anything with it. No, it's going again. Oh, it's lovely. It just came out of that weed from nowhere and snuffed that spinner. Yeah, are you going to tailwhip? No, he's not. Yes! No, he just quite hasn't got the power. I thought that was going to go then. I just love to see them tail. I really do. Looks like a low double anyway. He's a bit lean. Now then, let's see if we can bring him in here. Oh, let's see if we can bring him in the edge. It's a bit deep there. Whoa. Ready then. Can't glove it out when it's still. Now then, is this nearly ready for me to glove out? Let's just get this glove out of my left pocket. I love these chainmail gloves, and for handing out pike. Whoops! No, it's still going. You're not then going to hurt yourself on the teeth. No, it's still going through this weed. Come on, out you come. Whoa, he's still going. It's amazing. Now then, where I'm going to get down here, I just don't know. But we're going to have a go. It looks a bit deep here. That's the only... Oh, dear. Now then, I'm just going to put the rod there. It's all tight and ease myself. Oh, dear. I think I'm going to get... No. Am I? I've possibly got away then without a boot fill. Now then, come on. Whoa, no, he's still... it's still going. There's more weed than pike. Oops, hang on, nearly... Oh, I nearly went in then. That's the only trouble not bringing a net, of course, when you get a fish like this and Whoa! You've got to glove it out. Let's have a look now. Whoa, no, he's off again. Well, he's fighting better now than he was before. Oh, he's going through the weeds again. Whoa! Oh, come on. Now, I thought that'd have had the power to tail walk then, and it didn't. Whoa. Now then, come on. Let's see if we can glove you out. It's all twisted up with line here. Now I need to get down here so I can get my left hand under his jaw. Just slip my hand in his left gill. Yes, got him. Oh, look at that. Oh, isn't that a lovely fish? Probably about, I don't know, 12, 13 pounds. Look at those teeth. I'm telling you, summer pike is something else. Just hooked as well. Look at that. Oh, I don't believe it. In and out of those weed beds. Look at that from Lean Machine. That was fantastic. Well, now the management of this fishery tell me there's lots of big pike here at Fruit, but I don't know, do you? Well, that one is bigger than the spoon I'm using, but what do you reckon? Not much, is it? Let's put him back.